This was the first full day where plane passengers were no longer mandated to wear a mask. That federal mandate has been lifted. What if you still feel comfortable wearing one on a plane? CBS 5's Maggie DeRosiers talked with a health expert to find out just how much that mask is going to help.
Well, today we have 196 new COVID-19 cases in Onondaga County, and our county is still considered an epicenter of COVID thanks to a subvariant. Doctors tell me that COVID fatigue is playing into our community's decisions when it comes to the virus. Cheers! As airline companies announce masks will now be optional on their flights. Locally, passengers shared that sentiment.
It's wonderful and freeing. We love it.
I actually am glad not to have to, but I probably still will.
But is it too soon to be throwing caution and masks to the wind? Cornell University virologist Louis Shang says he would have preferred masks to be worn longer, but as a society, this is the reality.
I think that as a society, we have decided that as long as the health system is not overwhelmed, and the hospitals can cope, we are okay with the spread of the virus.
He says communities are willing to accept new variants and hospitalizations in order to live a more normal life.
We are to the point where we are willing to accept the cost of going back to what life used to be.
If one person masks up but others don't, he says you still wearing a mask won't have the desired effect.
We either do it seriously, everybody everywhere, or probably doesn't have too much of an effect. There's not very much evidence that really a single person wearing a mask makes any difference now.
And our decision to unmask has to do partially with the length of the pandemic.
The decisions that we are making are mostly based on COVID fatigue. It has been for too long. We have gotten the number of hospitalizations to a certain lower number, in rate at least, and we are willing to do it.
Shane told me that antiviral treatments and vaccinations have put us in a place where case numbers and hospitalizations or deaths aren't tied to one another as they were at the beginning of the pandemic, which is part of the reason why communities are looking towards normal life again despite rising cases.
Less than a week on the job, the new director of Syracuse's Office to Reduce Gun Violence is responding to the shooting downtown. Amanda Hall sat down with the head of the office about the goals of this new position. Amanda.
Yeah, that's right, Megan. Lateef Johnson-Kinsey's new job is to keep gun crime down in the city of Syracuse, a job he's starting with an extremely full plate. Lateef Johnson-Kinsey is no stranger to Syracuse. He grew up here and has seen the way gun violence has rocked the city.
Number one is the amount of guns. Number two is the conflicts that are going on in the community. And there's no resolve. Someone has a conflict, argument, and it doesn't go to a fight. It goes right to someone getting a firearm and shooting someone.
In his new role as the director of the Office to Reduce Gun Violence in the city, he says his plan involves two things: finding those who are what he calls block captains, people who may be well known on their street.
How can you take your experiences, use that time and that talent to help others? You're living there. That's your block. That's your home. That's your neighborhood. Take stake in it. Take your neighborhood back.
Then finding young kids and teens who are getting involved in the violence.
So guess what? All our kids aren't out here shooting people. 90% of our kids are in school every day. Love on them, care about them, and let's deal with the 8% that we can pull in. But there's always a percentage that we might not be able to help, but that 8% we can pull in. I believe that.
Johnson-Kinsey is stern in his message to those committing the crime.
To the people that are doing the shooting, the community is sick of you. They're tired of you. The community is going to start speaking up. We're going to empower the community that they begin to do that. They're tired of you, not just the mayor, not just the chief, but the community, the neighborhoods. Those block captains are sick and tired of hearing shootings and gunshots all night. They want to feel safe.
He also said his office is planning to hopefully bridge the gap between youth who are at risk in the city and all of the programs the city has to offer.
New tonight, a Syracuse University student's life turned upside down by the war in Ukraine.
She was separated from her family when Russia invaded, her college savings wiped out, and now a Newhouse professor is trying to help. Alina Oversharenko is supposed to start a graduate program in advertising this summer at the Newhouse School. The 26-year-old is from Ukraine, and when Russia launched its war on her home country, her life was thrown into chaos. Her family lost their jobs. Her college savings quickly evaporated. Alina escaped to Germany, where she is safe, but she was separated from her family, who are still in Kyiv. Newhouse professor Edward Russell connected with her on Zoom on a call recently and was heartbroken to hear her story.
She said her voice was crackling, and she said, "I don't really know, if I'm going to be able to make it there in the summer." I got off the Zoom call and I thought, we can fix this. Somehow we can fix this.
So Professor Russell started a GoFundMe page to help. Alina earned a full academic scholarship to attend Newhouse, but she needs funds for travel, housing, books, and food for 1 year. Donations to help her will be put into a university organization account.
She was blown away. And as she said, I never knew that people would give to somebody they'd never met, to try and help somebody they'd never met. And that, to me, is really the American spirit. You see the incredible destruction in Ukraine. I can't fix all that. It's way over my head. But you know what? Maybe I can do this. It's one little thing. It might be a drop in the bucket, but it's going to be huge for her. And if I can do this, that's good enough.